The government took from one hand what it gave from another. In a surprise move, the government decided to increase the cap on LPG cylinders from 6 to 9, but also let it be known that it was going to bleed oil companies decide the retail price of diesel from now on. The move is being seen as a reform measure that will greatly reduce the fiscal burden on government and also boost the sagging bottom lines of oil companies that have been posting losses because of the huge subsidies on diesel fuel. Petroleum Minister Veerappa Moily has said that it is now up to oil companies to decide on diesel prices. The government has been trying to justify this blow by saying it is only a small correction in prices.
Import of crude is more than 80% in this country, and it is going up. Ultimately, somewhere we have to run the country. The economy of the country will have to run. Otherwise, what happens? The companies will close, and they cannot run. And that's why the Vijay Kelkar also looked into this matter. He also gave the recommendation, looking into all these problems confronted by the country, and also with regard to the the increasing under recovery. We have allowed now the oil marketing companies to allow a small correction in the days to come.
Well, this decision from the government will have a cascading effect as far as prices are concerned, and that is going to hit the common man with prices of everyday goods going up as and when the hike comes into effect. Oil companies have been losing about 17 rupees per litre on diesel. They've been demanding anywhere between 3 and 4 rupees in a hike before the 31st of March. Earlier, the government had hiked diesel prices by 5 rupees. Opposition parties not buying the government's explanation, saying the centre has no concern for the Aam Aadmi.
Oil companies have been allowed to make small corrections from time to time. Emphasize the word small corrections from time to time. That, I believe, the Petroleum Ministry has allowed the oil companies. So that is what you should report.
डीजल के बारे में तो सारा देश जानता है कि सरकार ने फैसला कर लिया कि हर महीने डीजल की कीमत बढ़ाएंगे। तो गवर्नमेंट को अपनी एक प्राइसिंग पॉलिसी इस संबंध में जो है तय करनी चाहिए और इसका खुलासा करना चाहिए।
S. Narayan, former oil secretary, is with me on the phone line. I want to get an expert view on the decision that's been taken by the government today. Mr. Narayan, how are you reading this decision?
I think a diesel price hike was long overdue, and one would have normally thought that the government would decide the kind of a quantum of hike, but allowing the oil companies an open, I would say, open checkbook to raise the price periodically.
Yes.
I think this would have some implications for the common man, particularly when the difference between what the oil companies are asking for and the real price is close to about 12 to 13 rupees. So a 12 to 13 rupee increase would definitely impact all prices, transportation, commercial sector, everything. So it would have an impact. And this wording of small prices from time to time doesn't make much sense, because small means what?
Yes.
2 rupees every day.
That's what I wanted to ask you, Dr. Narayan. What goes through your mind when you hear Veerappa Moily, defend this decision by saying it's only a small correction? Journalists continue to ask him how small is small, define small, and he just smiled and said it's a small correction.
But please note, there's a bit which says small correction time to time. And what is this time to time? Every week, every fortnight? Let's not forget that some years ago they were allowed to change it every fortnight. And that could add up to quite a bit over a period of time.
But what kind of effect and impact do you think it's going to have, Dr. Narayan?
You see, I think I look at it from 2 or 3 points of view. One is, several states are reeling under power shortages.
Yes.
And therefore, even manufacturing industry is having to use diesel generating sets a lot. Already, this is making them uncompetitive vis-a-vis international industry. And the diesel price hike would make them more uncompetitive unless the power problem is solved. So this is the manufacturing sector. On the agriculture sector,
yes,
certainly agriculture pumping, as you know, that agriculture also gets power only for a short time during the day, and the balance depends entirely on diesel generating sets. So I think agriculture sector also the costs are going to go up. The commercial sector, which is basically the malls,
yes,
the houses, the shops, etc. Again, a substantial amount of diesel generation is used, so those costs are going to go up. And apart from this, of course, the transportation sector, the lorries, the transportation of goods,
yes,
logistics, everything is going to go up.
So the common man should brace for more expensive items, Dr. Narayan?
Which is not insignificant.
The common man on the road, Dr. Narayan, should brace up for higher prices then?
Yes, I totally agree with you there. I perhaps would have suggested that it would be much more reasonable to push up prices in a selective way.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the transportation sector fixed and increase, let us say, for commercial undertakings, increase prices where big residential complexes are using diesel generators to run air conditioners, big vehicles are being used. I think that would have been one opportunity to spare the common man this burden.
Dr. S. Narayan, former Oil Secretary, thanks for putting that into perspective for us. A double-barreled announcement by the Petroleum Ministry. Was this the best way to have taken a controversial decision of this kind?